Okay, so you've probably seen it in your coffee, and you've definitely heard the hype. MCT oil is pretty much everywhere these days, and it's being sold as this miracle solution for weight loss. But is it fact, or is it just another fad? Let's break it down. So, that's the big question we're tackling today. Are medium chain triglycerides, or MCTs, really the weight loss secret everyone's making them out to be? We're going to cut through all the noise and get to the science. The answer? Well, it might actually surprise you. Let's get into it. All right, first things first, let's talk about the buzz. Because if you've spent any time at all in the health and fitness world, you know what I'm talking about. Keto dieters absolutely swear by this stuff. Wellness influencers can't stop raving about it. And the promise is always seductively simple. MCTs can help you lose weight. But with all that chatter, it's really easy to get lost, right? So before we can even begin to judge the claims, we have to understand what we're actually talking about. So let's start with the absolute basics. Okay, so what in the world are MCTs? I know, it sounds super scientific, like something straight out of a chemistry class, but I promise, the idea is actually way simpler than you'd think. It's pretty straightforward, really. MCT just stands for medium chain triglyceride. Yep, it's a type of dietary fat, and the name itself gives you a huge clue about what makes it so special. So, all fats are basically made up of these things called carbon chains. And what really matters here is the length of that chain. MCTs, as the name suggests, have a medium length. They're shorter than the long-chain fats you find in stuff like olive oil or avocados. And that one little difference in length, it completely changes the game for how your body processes them. So why should you even care about this medium-length chain? Well, this is where we get into the heart of the argument for why MCTs might just be a seriously powerful tool when it comes to weight management. Okay, this is where it gets really cool. See, most fats, they take this long, complicated journey through your digestive system, but not MCTs. They get an express pass, a VIP ticket straight to your liver. What does that mean for you? It means they get converted into energy like right away. They're way less likely to get stored as body fat. Think of it as quick burn fuel for your body. And get this, there's another little perk. Calorie for calorie, MCTs actually have about 10% fewer than other fats. Now I know, 10% might not sound like a huge deal, but think about it. Imagine if you got a 10% calorie discount on every single fatty food you eat. Over weeks and months, yeah, that definitely starts to add up. Oh, but we're not done yet. The list of potential benefits keeps going. Some studies suggest MCTs can actually help trigger the release of hormones that signal to your brain, hey, I'm full, which is obviously great for controlling your appetite. Plus, they convert super easily into something called ketones. You can think of ketones as a kind of super fuel for your brain that your body makes when it's in fat-burning mode. And that is exactly why the keto community is so obsessed with MCTs. And look, this isn't just some random influencer talking on social media. We're talking about serious science here. A massive review of studies published just this year in 2024 reached a really powerful conclusion. The researchers actually recommended using pure MCTs as part of a dietary plan for people dealing with overweight and obesity. I mean, that's a huge up-to-the-minute endorsement from the scientific community. Okay, so at this point, you're probably ready to go buy a giant jug of MCT oil. But hold on a second, pump the brakes. Because like with pretty much every health trend out there, there is another side to this coin. Yeah, there are some pretty serious risks we have to talk about. Number one, even though they have fewer calories than other fats, they are still fats, and that means they're high in calories. So if you overdo it, you're still going to gain weight. Simple as that. Number two, they're saturated fat, and that always brings up concerns about cholesterol. Now, here's a weird one. For some people, they might actually stimulate hunger hormones, the exact opposite of what you want. And finally, if you take really high doses, you could run the risk of fat building up in your liver, which is absolutely not good. So what do we have? We've got a really compelling case for MCTs and some pretty serious warnings. How do we make sense of all this? Let's try to put it all together and figure out the final verdict. All right, let's just lay it all out, side by side. The promise is so tempting, right? You've got fewer calories, a quick source of energy, that feeling of fullness, and it's all supported by some brand new research. But then there's the reality. They're still very high in calories. There's that risk of liver fat buildup. They might make you feel full or they might make you feel hungry. And honestly, a lot of the older studies on this were pretty weak. So what's the real takeaway here? What's the bottom line? It seems like when used in moderation, MCTs can be a perfectly safe tool that might give some people a little extra edge. But let's be absolutely crystal clear about this. It is not a magic bullet. It's not a miracle cure. It will never, ever replace the fundamentals of a healthy diet and regular exercise. Which leaves us right back at our big question. Are MCTs a helpful tool, or are they just a risky distraction? Well, the science seems to be telling us they're kind of both. They offer some real tangible benefits, for sure. But those benefits come with real risks you can't ignore. So maybe the secret isn't in the oil itself. Maybe the secret is in how you choose to use it, carefully, in moderation, and always as just one small piece of a much bigger health plan. Something to think about. Thanks for tuning in.